In spite of a magnificent 100 from Michael Klinger, his 7th in 2020 cricket, Gloucestershire lost a rain-affected game by 24 runs on Duckworth Lewis at the Brightside ground. Rain meant a delayed start, the game reduced by just 1 over per side, Klinger cutting Reece Topley for the first 6 after the opening 2 overs cost Hampshire only 8 runs. But the same over saw the end of Phil Mustard for 3, a skyer easily caught, the first wicket falling with 15 runs on the board. 38 came from the 6 overs of power play, and just 3 more runs had been added when Ian Cobain was held by James Vince at short mid-wicket off Liam Dawson, the batsman believing the ball had not carried. Kieran Nima Barnett was promoted to number 3 but was out for a couple, miscuing an uppercut which was well held at short third man by Kyle Abbott. Boundaries were really hard to find. Benny Howell, though, picking up the pace in the 12th over to get a decent crowd giving the cold and gloomy conditions on their feet, the total up to 80 after a dozen overs. Klinger had pushed things along in making yet another 50 in this format, this one off 38 deliveries, and he celebrated by thumping Chris Wood down the ground for his second maximum to add to his 5 fours. Klinger and Howell added 54 runs together to bring up the 100 after 14 overs before the latter's reverse paddle went straight into the hands of Rousseau, Howell departing for 25. Mason Crane added another wicket in the same over, Jack Taylor picking out Topley at long off. It was left to Klinger to try to hold things together as once more he led by example. And big hitting Tisara Pereira hit big off Liam Dawson. Klinger needed a big finish and took 12 runs off 1 Chris Wood delivery, back-to-back sixes, the first off a no ball, giving the home team just the lift they needed. It was a fantastic innings, Klinger dominating the scoring. As he moved into the 90s while bringing up the 150 in the 18th and penultimate over with his 5th maximum. And his 7th took him to his ton, made off 56 balls, a sensational knock that gave his side the momentum at the break. He and Pereira smashing 69 runs off the final 4 overs to take their side to a challenging 174 for 5 from their allotted 19 overs. Hampshire had a moment of fortune early on when Vince was caught off a Matt Taylor no ball, and the visiting skipper made the most of that by helping this delivery from David Payne over the rope. Vince was dominating the early scoring, striking 1 boundary after another as he made 39 runs on his own in the power play, the target down to 116 from the remaining 13, with a total at 59 without loss. Vince was dismissed at the end of the 8th over, taken behind by Mustard off Pereira, although the batsman wasn't convinced he'd hit it. It brought an end to an opening stand of 85. That saw Michael Carberry come to the crease, and was soon playing his shots in spite of batting with a runner, the 100 up in the 10th and the rate required to beneath 8. A hobbling Carberry just stood and hit through the ball, Tom Smith the next to witness his ferocious bat speed. But having got to 20 off 7 balls, he was legged before to Matt Taylor to his 8th. The bowler was then in the game 2 balls later as George Bailey edged off for a duck, Hampshire on 115 for 3, but requiring just 60 more from 8 overs, more wickets needed for Gloucestershire. The rain began to fall with the home team well behind on Duckworth Lewis, and off the players went. Not to return. Hampshire on 121 for 3 from 11.4 overs, and that meant a victory for the visitors by 24 runs, ahead of our next game at Essex on Saturday night.